apologize for the delay. I was upstairs visiting with the girls' flag football teams. There's 5 of them up there on our 3rd floor, having lunch right now, and had a nice opportunity to meet with those guys, and take pictures and those things, and wish them the best of luck in their season. I think most of their games start pretty quick here. I think next Saturday maybe, but. What they were saying, but we support those guys. We have done that for the last couple years. Buying the jerseys for the teams, and I think that's pretty cool. And it's also the Bears are doing a really cool thing right now and doing a job fair for those guys. So they have representatives from the Bears, from the training staff, from the scouting staff, from the coaching staff to the equipment. There's a lot of profession. You can take get a profession in the line of work of football, and I think it's pretty cool to be able to expose those young ladies to that. And we're always supportive of that. We're always trying to grow the game. I think that's a good way to do it. Second time in a row we had the community day, got rained out, so apologize for that. Can't predict the weather. It's supposed to rain at 10, but rained at 10:20 something, or 11:20 something. So sorry for that, but we'll work that out as we go. In terms of the practice was a really good practice. We were in shells. Again, a lot of situations. We were working in the red area a lot today. Did a 2-minute at the end there with short amount of time, no timeouts. So that was also good to see. And did a couple more periods, in there. Still did another 7-on-7. Had some good one-on-ones. Working on our pass rush and pass protection. That's going to be huge for the year. So we did that too. But with that, I'll open up to questions.
What did you think of Justin in that 2-minute drill? Where the last one where you had the clock in play?
Yeah, it's a situation where we were all the way down into the red area. We're trying to get a touchdown there, and I thought the defense executed well there at that, in those moments. But the operation was good. Operation was clean, and we had our opportunities.
Matt, after watching tape of the game, a couple of individuals maybe stood out that you didn't really see right during the game.
Yeah, during the game. Yeah, like everybody saw, it's already been written about for real. But obviously DJ's catch, and that was pretty electrifying. And the young Stevenson had a good game. That was good to see. And there's Wright executed well when he was in there. So, but it's pretty much been written about. But yeah, those guys stood out to me.
Man, what benefit do you get from crossover practices that you don't get against your own team?
Just the skill set. And I've been talking about that. And that's really important because we want matchups. We'll talk to the Colts staff about, hey, what matchups we're going to get. We're going to have a meeting the night before with their staff, which would be cool to be able to sit down, talk about the practices, talk about the tempo of practice, talk about the matchups, and making sure we're squared away so we're both getting what we want to see out of the practices. And so that's really it, the skill sets. You get to match people up.
A lot of times, not a lot, sometimes the starters play more in the practice than in the actual game. Are the practices a bigger benefit for you as far as your first team guys than the game would be?
I think it's a big benefit all the way around because you get to hone in on the they get to do one-on-ones in the red zone. You get to do one-on-ones in the field. You get to hit the pass rush, the pass protection. You get to do all those one-on-ones and see how people fare in that situation. It's great that our guys get to go against a different team, and I'm excited about it.
Justin in the first team.
We saw Ngakwe out there a little bit
Yeah.
today. I'm curious what you've made of him in his stay here. He hasn't practiced a ton. And, do you plan on him practicing against the Colts? And do you plan on him playing in the game?
Yeah, he's been doing well. He's been picking up the scheme well, like we talked about when he first came. There's not a big stretch in terms of the scheme difference that he's been in the last few stops he's had. So it's been pretty easy for him. He's been practicing hard, working through individual, getting his feet down. And we'll talk with the training staff. We haven't made any decision of who's practicing yet or who's not practicing in Indianapolis yet. We'll talk about that here in the next couple of days, and we'll figure that out.
But do you want to see him in a pregame game before or at some point? Whether it's
we'll talk that through. I think when you're a guy that's been has played some or has played more than 6 or 7 years, you always talk about that where he is and it's like I said, it's individualized.
Would you like to see Justin and the first team offense get another 2 series, maybe even more in Indy in the game?
We'll see. I certainly want to get him some more action at some point, but we'll see where it goes with that. And again, we'll talk about that more here in the next day or two. Certainly I'd like to see him get some more action for sure.
Again, now that you've gotten a chance to take a look at the tape from Saturday's game, how would you evaluate the first team defensive line, specifically against the run?
Yeah, I thought it was good to a certain degree. It was better in terms of the punch, played on the other side of the line of scrimmage. I certainly felt that. But the precision and detail needs to be cleaned up. That was my main message to the whole team. So the first team offense, when they were in there, the precision and detail needs to improve. Same thing with the first team defense. Even though we pop a couple plays on offense, there's still a lot of detail in there, on all those plays that we need to clean up. And that's what we're going to do today. So this afternoon, the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator are going to meet with the whole unit and go through those first couple series, the first series on defense, first couple series on offense, and just show everybody how we're all tied together, how the precision and detail of your position and how we execute is so important to us getting favorable down and distances, moving the chains down the field, getting in scoring position, or stopping people from getting in scoring position. And that's all evident on the tape. It's right there. And we just got to learn from that.
It looked like Roshan got a couple reps during 11-on-11 with the ones. What has he done to earn that playing time with the first team?
Just the running style. He's a downhill guy that we're excited about. He's got good vision. And he's been, since he's gotten in there, we really love the style. And we're just going to keep, letting that thing compete out where it belongs, and we'll see where it goes.
You guys only have one cut day this year. How does that change kind of the way you evaluate everybody?
Well, I think it's good that they allow you to do that, because, we're always stretching on that last game, and, you're always, kind of in a little bit of a pickle of what to do with the guys. So I think that's beneficial for the league to help us do that. So, but yeah, we're just going to work through this week and see where it is, and then we'll decide what we're doing for this game and then moving forward to the next.
When you hired Luke Getzey last year, there wasn't that much of a track record to look back to because he hadn't had a lot of time. He hadn't been an NFL offensive coordinator for sure.
Yep.
How were you able to project with him, almost like you'd project with a player, what kind of coach he would become, and what growth did you see from him last season?
Yeah, I was a defensive coordinator at Missouri for 8 years. He was the offensive coordinator at Mississippi State. I don't know how many years, a couple years or whatever, but, and that was my first time coordinating, and I went to the Colts. So, when you talk to a guy and visit with a guy and you figure out, look at his track record, okay, in terms of his position, because, if you look at a guy for being a coordinator, you look at his position first and see how they play. So he coached wideouts, he coached quarterbacks. So if you just watch that, and if you respect that, and you watch the tape, because that's your tapes, your resume is your tape, and that's how I judge coaches. And then you get to know them and understand the mind and how the mind works and how creative and those types of things. Then you figure out and get to know the person, and if it's a good fit, and that's why I hired him, because of what he had done as a position coach, and then figuring out what he was going to do as a coordinator. And his growth in the first year was really cool to watch, and his growth in the second year is going to be even better. So I'm excited to see where the offense goes.
That same deal with your rulings on the injuries. Should we assume that the guys that miss practice, there's nothing serious in terms of potential injury?
Yeah, we feel good where everybody is. The guys that are doing the therapy and the rehab and that's all on track. They have a method to it. And there's stages to it, and everybody's on track. As coaches, do we always want them back faster? Yeah, that's what we do, right? But we got to make sure that they're on track in terms of speeds, in the pool, speeds on land, and their start and stops are right, and then we start working them into practice. So that's where some of those guys are at right now.
Considering how important Jermaine Edmonds is, though, in that defense, kind of the quarterback of that unit, what types of things is he doing behind the scenes that, to make sure that whatever chemistry that was built up before he got hurt continues throughout, this month?
Yeah, that's a great question. He's doing everything he can do, so that would be the walkthroughs, the meetings, the night walkthroughs. So he's getting all the calls, all the defenses, the different things we're putting in at this time. We're building our menu board for the season right now. So first and second down, third down, red zone, 2 minute. We're doing that on both sides of the ball, and in the kicking game. So he's engaged in all that, building that menu board and making sure that he understands that we can pull those things off during the course of the year as we build our game plan for the week. So we're practicing that skill right now, being able to do that as we go through practices. We'll highlight certain things, and he's engaged in that, and we'll walk through those things, and he's engaged in that. So he's getting everything but the practice reps. As soon as he gets back, he'll be back, and we're excited where he is. In terms of his mental side and command of the defense.
With your injured guys, do they go with you this week, or do they stay back here?
It depends. It depends on where their injury is, but most of them we would like to go with us if they can. But again, we'll decide that here in a couple of days or by tomorrow.
3 weeks in of seeing Stevenson draw that matchup with DJ, where do you think he's made the biggest stride in going and getting the best of the best every day?
You talking about Stevenson? Yeah, that's just how he's wired. He's wired that way, and I think he's a really good competitor, which I love. And we knew he was going to be a good tackler and a physical corner, because you could see that on tape in the evaluation. And he's just going to continue to grow. This is a big week for him because he's going to be able to guard different guys and compete against those guys. And I think he'll be able to see how he can adjust his skill set to fit the player he's guarding. So it's going to be fun.
Now, with a couple guys out, we've seen Micah Baskerville get some opportunities with the second unit at that Mike linebacker position. What have you seen out of him with this opportunity to kind of get a little bit more run with that second unit?
Yeah, I mean, just, it is an opportunity. That's exactly what it is, So the operation, when he's in there, has to be clean, and that's being evaluated. So you got to make sure that he's making the calls, setting up the defense, and doing the things the right way, So we got, it's really just about alignment, and assignments, making sure we're doing the things right there. But he put a good step forward there last game.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.